Good day, Westeros fans. Stop everything you are doing, because the Seven Kingdoms just shook harder than the wall during the Battle of Hardhome. HBO has finally confirmed what we have all been whispering about, dreaming about, and wildly speculating about since the moment Daenerys' dragon wings folded over King's Landing. Yes, it is happening. The Jon Snow sequel series is officially real, and it is coming straight for our watch. If you thought winter was over, you might want to put those furs back on because the North remembers, and apparently so does HBO. Before we dive in like Arya leaping at the Night King, make sure you subscribe to Westeros Throne and click that notifications bell. Trust me, you do not want to miss anything, because this journey is about to get more unpredictable than a Lannister family reunion. Now, let us cut straight to the heart, because Jon Snow has always excelled at stabbing things directly in the heart. The announcement is not just another rumor tossed around like wildfire gossip in Flea Bottom. This time, HBO has confirmed with the kind of certainty usually reserved for prophecies from the three-eyed raven. The Jon Snow sequel is entering active development. That means discussions, writing, direction, and the big question: what story is so important, so massive, so universe-shaking that HBO believes it deserves a continuation beyond the original finale? First transition coming in hot, because just like Tyrion's wit, this next point hits clean, sharp, and without warning. Here is the first major truth: a Jon Snow sequel is not a small gamble. It is HBO returning to the exact moment the fandom split into two houses: House, let the past die, and House, give me more or I will riot harder than the faith militant. This sequel marks HBO choosing the second house, and honestly, we all know that is the house with more swords. So, what could the show even focus on? At the end of Game of Thrones, Jon rode north beyond the wall with the free folk. But that was not an ending, it was an ellipsis. A dot full of possibilities, dangers, and the kind of trouble only the most reluctant hero in Westeros can attract. You think Jon can just wander into the wilderness and live a peaceful life? This man has died, returned, gotten stabbed again metaphorically, discovered his entire life was a carefully crafted lie, and saved the realm from ice-powered extinction. Jon Snow does not get peace. Jon Snow gets more problems. Speaking of more problems, allow me to slide into the next transition smoother than Littlefinger slipping into someone's political downfall. Let us talk stakes. A Jon Snow series cannot survive on nostalgia alone. It needs teeth. Real ones. Dragon-sized ones. And here is where it gets interesting. HBO has been clear that they want to expand the franchise into multiple timelines and corners of the world. So imagine this sequel being the anchor to a new northern arc. The free folk. The magical mysteries beyond the wall. The leftover remnants of the dead. And let us not forget the biggest unresolved question: did magic in Westeros truly fade after the Night King was destroyed? Or were we all fooled by a temporary pause? This sequel could be the key to reopening the supernatural side of the world without retreading the same prophecies. Jon is the perfect character for that storyline. He is equal parts Stark, Targaryen, and existential crisis. He hates leadership, but leadership loves chasing him like he owes it money. And honestly, what better way to pull him back into conflict than a threat only he can see coming? Moving along with another transition, because just like Varys birds, we have more whispers to unpack. Let us discuss return characters. HBO has stayed mysteriously quiet about who else might reappear, but silence in Westeros usually means something huge is brewing. Could we see Tormund back?
It would be bizarre not to.
The man is basically Jon Snow's chaotic ginger shadow. And what about Ghost? After the way fans reacted to that goodbye scene, HBO would be foolish not to give the goodest direwolf more screen time. But then we get to the bigger, bolder, potentially controversial question: could characters from the South appear? The story could cross paths with Sansa as Queen in the North, Arya exploring west of Westeros, even Bran the Broken, Jon's literal cousin and the all-seeing, all-knowing, I cannot emotionally react to anything anymore king. Any of these connections could escalate the sequel from a northern survival story to a political and magical convergence. And here comes the next transition, full force, like Drogon torching the Iron Throne. Let us talk tone, because the tone is what will make or break this revival. Game of Thrones is known for being brutal, beautiful, and deeply character-driven. Fans want that again. They do not want endless fan service. They do not want soft, predictable plots. They want intensity, suspense, the feeling that every episode could leave them emotionally wrecked but spiritually satisfied. Jon's world beyond the wall is perfect for that. It is harsh. It is mysterious. It is wild. And it is full of stories we have barely scratched. HBO could explore ancient magic, new civilizations, forgotten wars, free folk legends, and threats too old for the history books. A northern saga that evolves from survival to destiny could be exactly what the franchise needs to reignite its momentum. Transition time again. Think of this one like a raven flying across continents, carrying more information than anyone asked for. One of the most important aspects of this sequel is how it reframes Jon Snow himself. For years, he has been the honorable tragic hero. The man who fights because no one else will. The man who loves reluctantly and loses repeatedly. But now, for the first time, he could be truly free. No oaths. No thrones. No prophecies. Just a man discovering who he is when the entire world stops telling him who he must be. That kind of character exploration is rare. And it is powerful. And frankly, no one deserves it more than Jon, who spent 8 seasons learning he was meant for greatness only for the throne to turn into melted gold puddles in front of him. This sequel is Jon's chance to take control of his own story for the first time. And that alone is enough to justify the show existing. Sliding into another transition, as smooth as a faceless man switching personas. Let us address the elephant in the throne room, the legacy of the original ending. Regardless of your opinion, introducing a sequel means HBO is acknowledging unfinished business. Not necessarily fixing the ending, but expanding it. Giving context. Showing consequences. Letting us see a world still healing from war, betrayal, and dragon-fueled destruction. Jon's journey could serve as the missing epilogue the original series never gave us, one that connects the emotional dots while creating new ones to follow. And now, the final transition before we wrap this up, swift and sharp, like Arya whispering not today. This Jon Snow sequel is more than a nostalgic grab. It is HBO signaling that the world of Westeros is far from done. With House of the Dragon gaining momentum, another major series returning expands the universe into something larger, deeper, and more interconnected. The North. The Targaryen legacy. The mysteries of magic. The politics of the New World Order. This is not just a sequel. It is a new era. And it all begins with one man who once believed he knew nothing, now being the key to discovering everything. Thank you for watching Westeros Throne.